Hello and welcome to I Am with Eric Faria. I'm your host, and it is my pleasure to have here with me today Matthew Colin, who is a musician, singer, and songwriter. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. So let's begin this conversation. You're my first musical guest ever on the show.
Groundbreaking.
Yes, indeed. It is, yes. So I just want to ask you, first of all, how did it all start for you with your music?
Okay, so I remember very distinctly, okay, when I must have been 5 or 6.
Yes.
And my parents got me a karaoke machine.
Oh.
And
What are those?
And my older sister taught me to put in a cassette tape and then sing with the cassette tape.
Wow.
So, you know, I thought I was cool, and I was like, it was like a Seal song from Batman Forever, Kiss from a Rose, something like that.
Yes, I do know that song.
Yeah, and I had no pitch, I had no tone. I was like, Kiss from a Rose. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is great. And then I hear it back, and I'm like, oh, it's garbage.
Well, you were a kid.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I expect better of myself.
Oh, wow. Very hard on your younger self there. But so that's how
with it.
Yeah, that's how it started.
That's actually how it started. And I remember I wanted to try out for the talent show at the school. I wanted to sing a song from Aladdin.
Oh, A Whole New World?
Actually, yes.
Yes.
But
I know that song too.
But, you know, I didn't know all the words.
Oh.
So my mom was like, let me save you from embarrassing yourself. Don't do this. And I was really upset with her, but looking back, thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So what was the first, like, talent show or competition or that happened for you?
Well, I remember I was maybe 16.
Mm-hmm.
And
so then, like, fast forward about 10 years.
Fast forward about 10 years. I was 16 years old, and I had just joined a band.
Oh.
Primarily out of being rebellious.
Okay.
But, and we were booked to play my girlfriend at the time, her best friend's birthday party. It was her Sweet 16.
Oh.
Right?
Big party.
Yeah, so we learned all kinds of covers, like metal covers, Green Day covers, like all these songs. And we played, and we were horrible. But it was actually a really good experience. It was a very formative experience for me. You know, I learned what to do, what not to do, what I like, what I don't like, what feels good when you're singing, what doesn't feel good when you're singing.
Yeah.
So that was important.
That was, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And being like your first official gig,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Were you guys paid for that? Do you remember that?
No, I think I got paid in like 5 slices of pizza and a cup of soda. Like, I didn't even eat all 5 pieces of pizza.
Sorry, but that's just funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And then fast forward to where you are now. So you write your own music, right?
Yes.
You write original songs,
Yep.
right? And how did that process begin?
You know, after I played that show, I thought really long and hard, and I said, I could actually do this. I said, if I learn what I'm doing and I don't screw it up, I could actually do this. And I started, you know, writing songs. I joined a band. It was a hardcore band, like pop, screamo, all that from the mid-early 2000s. You know, that was big. So I joined a band like that, and we started writing songs, and a lot of them were good. And I was really surprised. You know, and then when that project ended, I left that project, and that was actually the day I took about $275, I think, dollars out of a bank account my mother didn't know that I knew about.
Okay.
For me. I wasn't stealing from her, it was for me. And I went out and I bought myself a little piece of crap starter guitar.
Oh.
And I watched YouTube videos, and I watched people playing, and I taught myself how to play that way.
Really?
Yeah, so fast forward to 6 months later, and I'm in a studio apartment in Brooklyn, and I'm doing my first record.
Wow. From just watching like YouTube videos, learning how to play the guitar,
Yeah.
taking the $275 out of the bank account, buying a crappy guitar, and then just recording?
Yeah. I mean, like the first few songs that I wrote, absolute trash.
Okay.
You know, and then it really occurred to me, I need to restructure the way that I'm writing, because I was writing lyrics that were not very good. The music was okay for the skill level that I had, because bear in mind, I had just started playing. But the lyrics themselves were there was no rhyme or rhythm.
Oh, okay.
You know, there was no story. You know, there was no underlying anything. It was just, these are words, I'm going to sing them. And they didn't really
There was
do
no
it for
connective
me.
tissue.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, got it.
Thank you for that. Yeah, they didn't do it for me. So I taught myself how to play all these songs that I really, really enjoyed. And then one afternoon I would sit down and I broke out a pen and pad and I wrote the lyrics to these songs.
Right.
And I started circling things that I thought stood out. You know, and then I tried to write a verse of my own, mimicking those things. And I learned, you know, I learned prose. You know, I learned cadence. I learned all those things just from these little exercises that I would do.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I wrote 4 or 5, 6 songs. And I picked up a second guitar player, and we went to a house studio in Brooklyn.
To record.
To record a record.
What, that is just unbelievable. But in a very good way.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, really. Truly, because I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I've never written a song in my life, but I don't even know. Take me through the writing process. Like,
Okay.
What is it like for you nowadays?
Well, a lot of times
Does the music come first? Do the lyrics come first?
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
It's wishy-washy. Okay? It flip-flops a little bit. So some days I'll be driving, and I'll have to pull over immediately and pull out my phone and take a note because I got a really good line stuck in my head. And I got to write it down before I forget it or it's gone forever. You know, other days I'll just be noodling on my guitar and I'll think, well, that works, but what if I do this over here? Or, you know, and then I think, well, I do have that line that I scribbled down on my phone. And then I'll pull that out. So sometimes the lyrics come first, sometimes the music comes first, but all in all, I really feel like it's the songwriter's job to make those things gel. As perfectly as possible. Because if they don't go together, it's just still going to sound like a mess, even if they're 2 pieces of one great song.
Yeah. No, totally, I hear you, because sometimes I will listen to a song and like the music is fantastic, but the lyrics just don't go together. I wish somebody else had written other lyrics to that music. Right? And yeah, it's so interesting. Or vice versa, like the lyrics are great, but the music is so bad.
I get that a lot too. One thing that I definitely noticed though that works is maybe take out a word here or there if something's too wordy. You know, like alphabet soup. You get a mouthful of alphabet soup, and sometimes you just have to spit out a word here and there in order to swallow that mouthful of alphabet soup.
Yes.
You know, there are songs where I got a line that's 15 words long, and I'm thinking to myself, "There's no way this is going to fit." You know, and then I go to play it, and I'm tripping over myself, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I trim it down. I take out a not or an and, or you know, small words like that. Never the big words, because the big words are actually what drives the narrative in the song. Because believe it or not, every song has a narrative.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, songs are like stories. They're just set to music.
Yeah. Or like poems.
Exactly.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because even with a poem, you have to rhyme, usually, right? Some poems don't. But usually they rhyme, and you need to actually find a narrative that's cohesive with the words that you have on that poem that you're talking about. Yeah.
You're 100% right. And that's something that helps quite a bit. You know, knowing what to take out and when to take it out.
Right. This is fascinating. What is, just before we go to break, what is like an early song that you have that really like stands out for you?
I had this one song. I was in this phase where all my song titles were really long.
Okay.
Like there was one song that said, I just got a call about a drive-by shooting at the moon.
That was the title of the song?
That was the title.
That's a terrible title.
It was horrendous. And then there's another song called Exit 40 Never Looked So Good. And I actually really liked that. That's a better title. I actually really liked that. Yeah. And the song was really bouncy, and it was really upbeat, and it was just a really great song. I couldn't play it for the life of me now. I actually changed the way it sounds. It's going to be on my upcoming record. But the original way I played it, I don't know how I did it, but it was so good.
Oh, amazing. This is good. So we have a lot more to talk about,
Absolutely.
and you're going to play some songs for us
Yes,
later.
I am.
And yes. Okay, so we have a lot more to talk about with Matthew. Stick with us. We'll be back right after this break. And welcome back to I Am with Eric Faria. I have here with me today Matthew Colin, and I'm just going to jump right in.
Absolutely.
And ask you, what are some of your musical influences?
Okay, so as a teenager, I was obsessed. I mean, obsessed. I wore the makeup and everything with My Chemical Romance.
Oh, yes.
You know?
I remember them from high school.
I remember they put out the record, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, I'm Not Okay, Helena, all those songs were on there. It was huge.
Yeah, they
the
were
music
huge, yeah.
was so great, and that was actually sort of what influenced me to write a little bit darker, because some of those songs, they could sound a little upbeat, but they're still dark.
Yes, if you
know?
if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, they're very dark.
Very dark. I mean, Helena's about their grandmother.
Oh, is it? I never knew. Okay.
Yeah. And the video is a funeral and everything. But the song itself, from what I read, don't quote me, I didn't write the song, but from what I've read and from what I understand, it's actually about their grandmother who passed away.
Oh.
So,
okay.
But I found it much easier, at least for me, to write in that dark place and make it sound a little bit happier than to write in a happy place and have to play with the emotions there. Because I feel like in the dark place, I'm starting at 0 and I can always go up.
Right.
But if I go in the happy place, I'm already here.
You're already all the way up. Oh my God, I never thought about that.
And I can't really, it's very difficult, at least for me, to jump around that way.
Wow. I just had an insight here when you talked about that. But yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. And more recently, Brian Fallon from the Gaslight Anthem. Their work is phenomenal. I mean, Bruce Springsteen loves them. So
yeah, that's
they're
very
good.
high praise. Yeah.
But more recently, in the past few years, he's actually branched out and gone solo. He just actually released his 2nd solo record, and it's just as good as the first one. This guy, oh my God. Brian, if you're watching this, call me. And a man called Chuck Reagan. He's from a post-punk band called Hot Water Music.
Okay, I never heard of them, but if you like them.
Hey, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
They have this one song called Trusty Chords. And it's actually my warm-up song. I've memorized it. It's my favorite song in the entire world. I had a friend years ago who was trying like hell to get me to listen to Hot Water Music. And I just wasn't into it. I was like, nah, man, it's not gonna happen, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, fast forward 8 years and I'm obsessed.
Okay. So like before you do a show or
before I do a show, if I feel like I need a warm-up, I'll like
That's your go-to
I'll
song.
go to a side room or I'll go to a green room if it's available for me, and I'll just knock it out really quick and shake out the rust and the jimmies and put on my mean face and go play the show.
As you were talking about, well, my first language is Portuguese, right? I grew up in Brazil, and I loved, when I was able to actually, when I was at an age, let's say 10, 11, 12 years old, when I began to actually pay attention to the lyrics of a song instead of just, oh, this has, a catchy tune and whatnot. And there's a guy, he's fantastic. I believe he's a national treasure. He's called, his name is Djavan, and he is a great, fantastic singer-songwriter.
Okay.
His songs and music go so well together. And then when I got here, do you remember, you probably know this, the album Jagged Little Pill from Alanis Morissette? Yes.
Yep.
So, and with that album, when I listened to it, right, because English was my second language, and I was like, she's telling stories about her life and events that happened to her. And it was angsty, it was, just like it got you pumped in some songs. It was more introspective in some other songs. But just overall, it was, in my opinion, it was a great combination of music and lyrics. A true singer-songwriter style album, right?
And I would be
That's
remiss
a classic
if I didn't
one.
mention. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that's actually one of my wife's favorite records.
Oh, is it? I still listen to that album. It's fantastic.
Yeah, wasn't it the one song I Want You to Know?
Yes, you ought to know.
You ought to know.
Yes.
That was about Dave Coulier from Full House, wasn't it?
I don't know who it is about, but I know that it's a great song.
You remember the show Full House?
Sort of, kind of.
With Bob Saget?
I know, yeah, I know
Michelle.
the show. Yes, I know the show, yes.
Okay. Uncle Joey.
Really?
The funny guy. That's Dave Coulier, and apparently they were dating.
Oh, okay, so that's who the song is about.
I don't know the details. Once again, I didn't write the song. But hearsay says it's about Dave Coulier.
But it's a great song. It's a great song.
Oh, it's a great song.
And the album is full of great songs. And so isn't it funny how if you actually pay attention to some of, our favorite artists and music, that you actually get a glimpse of where they were at that stage in their lives, right?
Right.
And I think that people sometimes they just listen to songs because, like I said, it has a good, catchy,
It has a beat.
yeah.
The hook is really great. It gets into your head, things like that. But if you really buckle down and sit down and listen to a record, start to finish, this is where I find I get my most introspective and personal thoughts, right? If I put a record on and I listen to it start to finish with no interruptions, it turns into an adventure. And that's actually how I write all my records.
Yeah.
I write them and then I arrange the songs so they tell a story.
Wow, really good. Is it kind of like a theme that you have, an overall theme for the album, or it just kind of happens? I
mean, I always tell myself,
I
always tell myself that I'm going to have a theme, and then it never turns out that way.
Okay. Well, those theme albums, concept, right?
Concept
albums, they were really popular like in the 70s and even 80s. You had bands doing them.
Well, speaking about My Chemical Romance from before, Welcome to the Black Parade, their follow-up to Three Cheers to Sweet Revenge, that was a concept record.
Yeah, or Green Day's American Idiot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're catching on.
Yeah. There you go. I remember those. I was in high school in the United States when they came out.
That was a great record.
It was.
That was a really great
record. It was. So much so that it actually became a Broadway show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the album.
I wish I got a chance to see it.
I didn't see it, but I knew that it was on Broadway.
I saw some footage of it. It looked great.
For sure. Talking about Broadway and like musical theater, is that something that you enjoy or that you take some cues from, ideas from?
Well, I did train myself singing shows like Moulin Rouge. I do enjoy musical theater. I've never done it.
Yeah.
I did take drama in high school.
Okay.
So I know how to act.
Yes.
But I've never had a chance to professionally do it.
Okay. Because I feel like the musical is such an American art form. It began here, right?
Right.
And it's very interesting to watch a show and see how the songs actually propel the narrative forward and they actually tell a cohesive story. It's not just a song for song's sake, right?
Right.
There are jukebox musicals like, about an artist's life, for example. But usually the original musicals, they always tell stories through songs. And I just always found it fascinating and being able to do that. Because that's a concept, right?
Absolutely.
It's not an album, but it's a concept for the show and the story that you're telling. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, if you go to a store, I know they stopped selling CDs.
Yes.
But if you go to a store and you pick up the soundtrack to any musical, right? Technically, that is a concept album.
It is, indeed, it is. Yeah, for sure.
It may not be written the way a traditional record is written, but it is a concept album. It just requires the visual to complement the auditory.
Yeah. So cool. Wow. This conversation is going in very interesting places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, so I know you have your guitar. I want you to play some songs for us when we come back. So, all right. So for everybody watching, in the next segment, Matthew's going to play a few songs for us. So stick with us. And welcome back to I Am. Once again, I have here with me today Matthew Colin, and he's going to be playing a few songs for us. So before you play, just talk a little bit about the song that the title and that song that you're about to play for us.
So this first song is called Shotgunned. And fun fact, it's the title itself actually came out of frustration for me. It was one of those days, the weather was horrible, I was feeling horrible, and I walk outside to do something, and my neighbor's like, "Hey man, you look like crap. How do you feel?" And I was like, "I feel like I've been shotgunned."
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And then I was like, "Wait a minute, that's good." So I brought it inside and I sat down with the guitar, and in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I had come up with this song. It's really about frustration at getting older and the things that irk you in life.
And you came up with it in an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Music and lyrics? Okay. All right. So why don't you just play the song for us?
All right. So this one gets a little rowdy, so.
Okay.
Hope you wore your dancing shoes. Well, all right. Sleep in the evening and my body's just so sore. Well, my daytime feels like nighttime and my dawn, it feels like dusk. Well, my body feels brand new, but I swear that it is made of rust. I can't go on. Since I met you, my lungs have turned black and low. And I think that I should blame you, but I'm just not sure what to do. Now my scars, they feel like zippers, and it appears I'm bleeding out. And I think that I could fly now, but these anchors weigh me down. I can't go on. I can't go on. I can't go on. Oh Lord, I can't go on. And all my friends say you're in a bad place, and all my friends say you should just save face, and all my friends say you're in a bad place, and all my friends say you should just save face. And I've been shotgun, and I've been shotgun. I can't go on. I can't go on. Oh, I can't go on. I can't go on. I can't go on. I can't go on. Oh, I can't go on. Oh Lord, I can't go. I can't go on.
Amazing! Yay!
Thank you.
I know it's just me, but yeah, that was really good.
If you're clapping, thank you.
Wow. So tell me about the process. How did it come to you when you wrote this?
Okay, so like I said, I had that idea.
Yeah.
Shotgunned. Wow, I feel like crap. I'm shotgunned. And so I go inside and I'm like, okay, I really want to turn this into a song, but I don't know how. And eventually that turned into, after 20 minutes, me looking on YouTube of songs that people that I enjoy played. And I'm just screwing around trying to find their chord progressions, and like maybe I could do this that they do, maybe I could do that.
I see.
Because inspiration comes from everywhere. And I actually came upon a video of two of my favorite people, Brian Fallon and Chuck Reagan playing together.
Okay.
And they were playing this song from one of Brian Fallon's Gaslight Anthem records. I forget exactly the name of the song, but it was the first track on their first big record. And when they got to the bridge of the song, right, they start playing this. Right? And they do something completely different. And instead of what they actually did on the song, they go to a song from another band.
Oh.
Which actually, Inception-y, directly references a song from Chuck Reagan's other band, Hot Water Music.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it was an Alkaline Trio song. And it goes, I can't go on, say my head's too heavy, I hear that song, those trusty chords to pull me through. And I was like, wait a minute, can't go on. I can't go on because I feel like shit. So,
yeah.
I can't go on. And then I said, well, how about if I walk it back down? I can't go on. And that's how it happened.
Wow. I mean, it's fascinating for somebody who has never done anything musically inclined, but it's just the whole process, how it works. And like you said, inspiration comes from everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
So the fact that you were referencing a song that the other singers were already referencing before they even recorded
Then I referenced another song.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's how everything like kind of comes together, and
Absolutely.
it's just transformed, right, from one person to another, because maybe someone else had heard that song who is also a musician and got a different idea than you, but you know, because it referenced a song that they like, it sort of like became something new.
Exactly.
So it's very Inception-y. Yes, like the movie, yeah, indeed. So, yes.
Just to put it out there, this song, Shotgun, is actually being released on, well, it was released on July 27th on Spotify.
Wow.
As a single.
Yeah.
Now, what we're doing at Deprived Records, my label, what we're doing is we're going to release one song a month until the release of my next record, which I'm writing right now.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So this is the first of those. And then every month it's going to follow suit.
So like
I actually was in the studio last Friday, and I recorded a bunch of really interesting covers that are going to be a lot of fun to release. I'm really excited to see what people think about them. So
cool, cool. Matthew, this is fascinating, so much so that I think we actually need a new episode to talk to you about the other songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just flew by. This is our third segment, but yeah. Will you come back for a new episode?
Absolutely.
Okay, so great. For everybody watching, we will have a lot more with this person over here, Matthew Colin, the musician, singer-songwriter, and he's going to play new songs for us. So stick with us. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Thank you for watching.